And this is my place.
While she's a new resident,
So this is the place that I have.
at Good Samaritan, St. Martin Village in Rapid City, South Dakota, Sister Yvette Mallow used to serve as a chaplain here.
I was walking down the hall and this guy said to me, "Are you a Catholic sister?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "What is a Catholic sister doing in a Lutheran facility?" And I said, "Oh, we're friends now."
The 85-year-old is one of 11 Benedictine Sisters of St. Martin Monastery who recently moved into Good Samaritan. Sister Yvette has been a nun since she was 16.
When I was just a little child, these beautiful sisters came and they had summer school, catechism, and they were so beautiful. And I said, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be like them."
Specializing in education and healthcare, the St. Martin Monastery Benedictines have been practicing their faith in western South Dakota since 1889. First, in Sturgis.
In Sturgis, I taught kindergarten.
Sister Carol and Sister Lorraine Coffin were teachers.
I have really enjoyed the variety of teaching, grade school, high school, adult education.
Sister Therese Marie Fairwa spent 40 years in healthcare.
Well, we had a hospital in Rapid City. I was there several years, and we had one in Deadwood and one in Hot Springs, and I spent some time in each of those hospitals.
For the past 65 years, they've all been based out of a beautiful valley in northwest Rapid City.
In the 60s, our community started getting so big that we couldn't fit in Sturgis. And so we built what's now Terra Santa, which was a convent and a high school.
At its peak, the monastery had more than 100 sisters. Then, because of shrinking numbers in 2007, the sisters sold those buildings to the Diocese of Rapid City and the local Catholic school system. They also sold 200 acres to Good Samaritan before moving into a new, smaller monastery.
They have the same charisms that we have.
I think it was an act of God.
Good Samaritan got to work building a full Continuum of Care campus, officially opening its main building in 2014.
And there was a lot of work to do to set up the infrastructure before you ever start putting buildings on it. So that took a long time, but it was exciting for me.
We're at St. Martin's Village. It started actually with the name of the school and the church out here. And growing up here in Rapid City, I honestly remember when this area had no buildings other than the school and the church.
In 2023, the sisters sold their monastery again, this time to Good Samaritan to use for memory care, hospice, and assisted living services.
It made perfect sense with their mission, our mission lining up. We needed more space, more rooms to accommodate the growing need in our area, and that was a perfect opportunity.
After a renovation, Unity Place opened up in April of 2025.
Demand is high, especially for memory care. There's very few places in western South Dakota that have it, and those that do are full and have a wait list.
I'm really glad that Good Samaritan is here. It's like we used to have 580 acres, and now we don't even own a stone.
Part of the agreement meant the sisters could move across the street into various apartments at Good Samaritan. The Benedictine Sisters of St. Martin Monastery are also no longer accepting new members.
The night before we moved over here, I was sitting in my room looking out into the forest, and I said, "Oh, I'm really gonna miss this." Then I come over here and I have a balcony and the scene is beautiful.
It's been very nice. As someone said when we moved in, we don't even have to do the dishes anymore. I mean, pretty spoiled. I feel pretty spoiled. They take very good care of us.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The group,
and the Lord be with you,
still has a dedicated space they use for morning and evening prayer.
That ongoing prayer, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas Day or the third Friday of the second month of the whatever, we're always here. And that is a very important part of our life.
the gospel of the Lord.
It's great having them here. They definitely add a positive aspect to the whole St. Martin's community. They definitely have a lot of history about the naming of these buildings, why we call this Legacy Place, why we call the other building Heritage Place and Serenity Place, and even furthermore, Unity Place.
It means the sisters' mission to care for everyone, regardless of background, will move forward even when they're gone.
I think Good Samaritan continues our mission.
It's spread everywhere, and it will continue to spread. as long as there are good people like us and you.
After all, the story of St. Martin helping the beggar, depicted here in Terra Sancta's stained glass, and the parable of the Good Samaritan share many parallels.
Martin cut his cloak in half and gave half of it away. But that night he had a dream in which Christ appeared to him wearing the beggar's cloak. The generosity and the charity, the compassion.
The cloak that Jesus is wearing envelops St. Martin and the beggar, and then it reaches out to the whole world.
What is the story of the Good Samaritan? It's the man who picks up the person in the ditch that everybody else is avoiding. That was also, I think, a very much a part of our work. We are bringing our work to a completion, and there are people who are following us.
With Good Samaritan and Sanford Health News, I'm Matt Holson.